Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Toyotathon podcast. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. It's actually called Packers Total Access, but I like Toyotathon a little bit better. Is it officially Toyotathon, guys? Is that true? I'm seeing the tweets. I'm tweeting them out whether they're accurate or not. I'm throwing them back out there into the Twitter sphere. So it's an exciting time to be a Packer fan. Obviously, as we get a little deeper into the season, we got the Vikings coming up at Lambeau this weekend, and really fired up to see what we learn about this Packers team moving forward. Tonight, we're going to hit the injury report. We got the official game status designations for each player on both teams. We're also going to talk a little Tyron Hopper. Looks like he might get his opportunity to shine a little bit. Talk a little Micah Parsons, and then we'll wrap up the show with a special request from Emilio, where we're going to talk about the Packers defense, how it matches up PFF grade-wise against the Vikings offense. And it's kind of tongue-in-cheek because if you hadn't mentioned it, you guys wouldn't have got that this game, and I would have totally forgot. So that's the way that works. How we doing, gents?
We're good. Happy it's Friday. Got Thanksgiving coming up next week. A lot of eating, but just got to get through the Vikings first.
Yeah, and Toyotathon is upon us. Let's go.
I tried. Emilio wake up on Monday morning. Like,
I'm not going to lie. I was faded. I ain't going to lie. I was faded.
So, all right, if you guys would, before we dive into all this, do that YouTube stuff for me. Hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, if you made it this far, I don't know why you're still here, but we appreciate you. Make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. We go live multiple times a day and just bring you the latest Packers news and our takes on everything that is Green Bay Packers. So anything you guys want to hit on before we jump into the injury reports, or anything on the forefront of your mind right now geared around the Packers? Anything?
Bird is the word. The window is open. Let's go.
It's exciting news, man. Did a video earlier today. Now, obviously, we didn't expect him to play. Let's just get right into it, right? We kind of didn't expect him to play this Sunday, but we're hoping Thanksgiving, right? So the injury report, and I want to give a shout out to Paul Brettel for sharing this injury report over on X. Here's what we got, guys. Officially listed as out for the Packers against the Vikings. Nate Hobbs. No surprise there with the knee, right? You've got Jaden Reed with the foot/shoulder was limited today. That's what Tim was talking about. They opened up the 21-day window, got him out there on a practice field. Looked good to me. On the clips we seen, looked like there was no holding back, right? Looked like he, was going to be able to run full speed. There's no limitations at all. However, he was technically limited at practice today, and he's officially out for this week. So they wasted no time. Hey, he's not going to play this week. Hopefully we'll get him back on Thursday with that short turnaround. So those are the only two that are listed as out. However, we got a doubtful, and that's Quay Walker with the neck injury. I don't see any chance that he plays on Sunday. I could be wrong, but I think so far this young season, anybody who's been listed as doubtful did not play on the upcoming games. So also listed as questionable is Carl Brooks, Matthew Golden, Josh Jacobs, Lucas Van Ness, Dontavion Wicks, and Savion Williams. On the questionable side, it seems like more of those players end up playing rather than half or less. And I know it's supposed to be a 50% shot of playing, but I want to get your all's take. We'll go around the horn with it here. We'll start with you, Tim. How do you feel about this injury report? Anything stick out to you that you're overly concerned about, or maybe something where you're looking forward to another player potentially getting an opportunity to shine?
Brandon McMoney, man, full participant all week. Let's go. Hopefully he's rounded the corner and good to go. And I'm with you, Clay. I think, the questionables for sure. I think probably 80 to 90% of that list is going to play on Sunday. And when it comes to Quay, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Doubtful is a good thing, right? DNP all week, hold him out, and let's get him ready for Turkey Day against the Lions,
Yeah, that senior's got to hurt, Tim. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've had a couple. They are not fun, but I can imagine with the extra weight and force and NFL speed and everything, it's just brutal. And you just can't move, right? I know Clay wakes up like that sometimes, can't turn his neck, but
And it's one of those where it's like, you don't need surgery, and they say, oh, it's not serious, it's a stinger, but man, tell that to the guy dealing with it, right?
Yeah.
and then let alone go out there and bang heads and
catch it on the wrong angle again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jacobs had a stinger a time or two, and he said penicillin is real expensive. So, I mean, that's the way that goes. But weather update for Sunday at Lambeau Field, they're saying during the day, intervals of clouds and sunshine in the morning with more clouds for later in the day, high of 49 degrees, winds 5 to 10 mile an hour. So wind shouldn't be too much of a factor. That 10 mile an hour gusting with a little swirl could throw a pass off here or there, maybe a kickoff here or there. For the most part, won't be anything like East Rutherford, New Jersey the other day. So
you say 49 degrees? I mean, that's summertime in November up here. Let's go.
Yeah, that's going to be the high. It looks like tomorrow, 46, 49 on Sunday. Tim, you back up to 54 on Monday, but don't get used to it because next week the high looks around 30, low 17.
It's that time, us Scotty people, we know what time of year it is, right? You get 49 during the day and then 19 at night. We get the whole smorgasbord, as they say.
Definitely. Coach Lynn in the chat says LVN back is a big deal. Completely agree. And it sounded like Matt LaFleur earlier in the day felt really, really good about him playing. Unless he had a setback we didn't know about today, sounds like he's going to get some meaningful snaps there as well. Moving along now to anything else on that, boys?
No, I was just going to say, excited to have LVN back, dude. I think that he's kind of key in that run defense that we've been maybe missing a little bit, just a little bit more in that power, that force up front. And when we walk him into tackle, I like having him as an option, just as, a little bit more long, kind of powerful tackle instead of, a weight kind of powerful tackle. And it would just be nice to have Hafley have him back.
And Coach Lynn says, watching Gary's play improve now would not be surprised one bit. I don't think it's a coincidence that after LVM went out, all of a sudden Gary's production started to dip. It seems like the more time LVM's been out. So if you get him back in that 3-tech with the cheetah package, LVN in the 3, wide 9s with Gary and Micah, or get back to the 3-3-5 Cub that we talked about, that what we call it Joker 1 3-3-5, where they got Micah standing up over or behind, I should say, the 3 down lineman. That could be another way to attack here. I'm excited to see what they do against the Vikings because, listen, you shouldn't overlook a Vikings team. They are due to play better football. I promise you that. I was looking at the rankings, and thank you for setting up that board for us, Emilio, over there.
I cleaned it up a little bit. Drew in the decimals and stuff on there. We're good.
Nice. I see what you did. That looks good. Look at you, my man. All right. So here is how the Packers rank in our power rankings, right? And again, everything that goes into this guy's winning percentage, offensive scoring, defensive scoring, offensive yards per play, defensive yards per play allowed, and turnover margin, okay? Green Bay is the 6th best team on this list, according to all those analytics combined together, equal value, equally weighted, right? Minnesota is 21st. The big thing that drags them down, turnover margin. So if they protect the football, let's say they had a top 10 turnover margin, that number would increase tremendously. I mean, they were probably somewhere around 12 or 13 in the league. That's really what's dragging them down. But again, it's such an important statistic, right? So we'll keep our eye on all that as we move forward as well. And we're going to try to update it weekly. And I'd like to get a copy of that too, Emilio, that we could share in the Patreon group over at patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. That way people will have access to the latest information there and y'all don't have to go run it down. Just another added benefit to being a member in our Patreon community. Minnesota Vikings side, what changed? Okay. You had Jonathan Allen, defensive lineman, veteran rest. Nothing to worry about there. Obviously, he was limited today, but that was all part of the plan. You had Javon Hargrave, same thing, veteran rest. Harrison Smith, veteran rest. So that's it. Other than that, Christian Darrisaw went from did not participate to full participation. We kind of talked about that. Maybe they were giving him a veteran rest day, but since he was already on the injury report with a sore knee, you can list it as a knee, right? Looks like Darrisaw is probably going to play, I would imagine. And then Will Fries did not participate, limited, full participation. He should be good to go as well. So it looks like we're catching the Vikings fairly healthy here. We'll see how all that plays out too, because this is a significantly older roster than the Packers have, right? with the Packers obviously being the youngest team in the league. And I do remember them going out in free agency, them being the Minnesota Vikings this offseason, and it seemed like they added a bunch of veterans, right? So I'm excited to see what this young Packers team can do against the Vikings team that, listen, they're playing for their season right here, man.
Yeah.
You get one or two more losses, and it's going to be really, really, really difficult to claw your way back into the playoffs. So you can't overlook this opponent. J.J. McCarthy's played like cheeks up to this point, but anybody can get hot at any moment.
It's true. And like you said, man, Minnesota's playing for their life, right? We're going to get the full gamut of a divisional matchup right here at 1265. And I'm looking at Hargrave and Grenard there. Those were the, defensively, two guys that we were keeping an eye on, and looks like they're going to go this week, and Harrison Smith for that matter. Say what you want, but you got to account for 22 out there on the field for sure.
Yeah, and like Clay was saying, Tim, they're basically completely healthy. It'll be cool to see Jonesy back. But besides that, man, you might need to pull out a couple of the stops, Matt, because I feel like they're going to be trying to – I don't know how much they can spread out their offense either with JJ, right? How much can you go into the bag of your offense and say, hey, I want to pull out this 3rd and 13 play I've been holding all season. I don't know if we're going to have time for it. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it off. All those things are going to come into play. So I think Hafley, maybe he keeps it base for a little bit, and then maybe you see a little bit of Hafley's game come alive here and try to scheme up some things against the rookie, basically quarterback out there, and see what you can't get.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a great point, man. All right, let's move along now. And you guys let us know in the comments. You're watching this injury report back later. Let us know how you feel about the injury report. Do you think the Packers should be concerned with how many are on that list? And to me, I'm not overly concerned. I feel like this is as healthy as we've been in a long time. You're still missing key players, don't get me wrong. Jaden Reed, number 1 receiver the last 2 years. Tucker Kraft was your leading receiver this year. When he got banged up, you're still missing your starting center who's out for the year. So you still got an uphill battle, but we want to hear from you guys and gals in the comments. How do you feel about that injury report? What do you think about the Packers' chances of winning this game? Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. All right, let's shift gears here and talk a little Tyron Hopper. We talked about Quay Walker, right? I think we all agree there's maybe a 10% chance he plays Sunday. If he wakes up and something miraculous happened, he feels 100%, maybe they'll activate him. I just don't see any chance of that happening. Let him rest up, get him ready for Thanksgiving Day against the Lions. And what that means is Tyron Hopper. You're going to see some Tyron Hopper here in this game. Now, the question is, does Tyron Hopper replace Quay Walker in the nickel 4-2-5 and you just keep McDuffie coming in on the base package? Or do you now shift it and say, okay, McDuffie is going to play alongside Edgerrin Cooper in the nickel 4-2-5, and Tyron Hopper is going to be your 4-3 linebacker coming in? That's going to be the big question, right? And I just want to point out, we wrote this article. It ain't even an article. I just put a video together and a couple of quick things here of Tyron Hopper back in the preseason, where I said Tyron Hopper may be taking that year 2 jump. And when you watch the tape here on this specific play, you can see Tyron Hopper flow into the ball. Play it one more time from the beginning. You see him, he's kind of playing right in the middle of the defense. It was a blitz. Watch him bounce outside. He's got that athletic ability. I want to say he had like a 4.5 40, I believe, 4.4 or 4.5, very, very quick at the linebacker position. But I wanted to point out, we put this information out through 2 weeks in the preseason. Guys, his PFF grades were 88.6 and 74.0. And you see 35 snaps, 39 snaps, significant amount of snaps. When you compare preseasons from when he came into the league, his rookie year preseason was a 50.4, and up to this point through 2 weeks in the preseason this season, 86.0. That's significant. Okay, hold up a minute. Let's stop for a second. What's going on with Tyron Hopper, right? Now I want to give you guys an update. I put a tweet out earlier when we found out that Quay, most likely, with him being doubtful, he probably wasn't going to play. I just said Tyron Hopper should see a significant increase in snaps Sunday with Quay Walker officially being listed as doubtful. He truly flashed during the preseason this year, earning an elite 90.1 PFF grade, with the 72.6 it seems to have carried over into the regular season too. So again, when you look at the grades here, it's probably a little bit hard for you guys to read. I'll tell you the numbers here though. He finished the preseason this year, 90.1 was his PFF grade. So rookie year 50.4, jumped to a 90.1, and that was on 95 snaps. I mean, that's a significant amount of snaps, right? Now, fast forward to the regular season, and he's only had 20 snaps, albeit, right? Luckily, we've been pretty healthy at the linebacker position, 72.6. So last year in the regular season, only 18 snaps, 60.7. This year, he jumps to a 72.6 on 20 snaps. So I'm not saying that minute amount of snaps should make us think Tyron Hopper is going to be an elite football player, but it's definitely not bad news, Emilio. You're seeing a player that's starting to build on success. And of course, we've seen him on special teams and being a contributor there as well. How do you feel about Tyron Hopper getting some meaningful reps, and how would you play it? Would you throw him into the nickel defense, or would you just let him be kind of that extra backer on 4-3?
Yeah, I think at the moment I'd probably just let him be that extra backer at the 4-3, just because you're going to go with what you have faith in McDuffie. McDuffie's your special teams captain. I think you kind of lean on that veteran leadership, though the reps Hopper's getting on special teams are always key. And on top of it, you see now, with those kind of grades, a little bit more of the tape that you get to see when he's out there. That's probably why he was a third-round pick. That's why they liked him. That's why they took a chance on him. If he can turn out to be something, it's just another thing that's going to help us on this defense, right? Speed comes from the linebackers, all those things. Maybe you get a little bit of a drop on McDuffie's in there speed-wise, but you don't lose any physicality, which is huge. If you need to get a little bit more physical, have some more speed, and you think you can still match them if they're running too wide, all right, let's get into base and let's let Hopper get out there, and he can cover in the flat if we have to, if we want to switch up, Hopper McDuffie roles when they're out there. But it would be cool to see him get some more reps for sure.
Yeah, and again, Tim, his archetype linebacker-wise, 6'2", 221, he's kind of a thumper, right? That's what he's known as. Third-round pick. This means Goody had at least a third-round grade on him, possibly a second-round grade on Hopper. So they seen him as a person that should be contributing sooner rather than later. I know it hasn't happened, which goes hand in hand here with what 2-0 for this said in the chat. Hopper's only downfall is being behind Quay and Cooper. Hard for anyone to see the field behind these two. Yeah. I don't see his lack of play, Tim, as an indictment. I just think you felt really, really good about those two stack backers in your nickel 4-2-5 up to this point, and McDuffie having a lot of connection there with Jeff Hafley. He stepped right into this defense, and he really took a step forward this year.
Yeah, I agree 100%. We made that decision, right? It was Eric Wilson or it was Zay McDuffie, and we went with Zay, and I think that was the right choice. But, speaking of Tyron Hopper, man, this is so true what Too Old for This is saying. It's not an indictment on him at all. It's the fact that you're behind two really, really good stack backers, and reps are a premium, and whether it's a nickel look or a base look, the more reps Tyron Hopper gets, in actual defensive sets, not just playing special teams for us. We're going to get a better look at what he can really do. And honestly, we always gripe about Zay McDuffie and coverage. Looking at Tyron's, coverage grades here and the way he's played, I don't think that's a bad look to maybe pepper him in the nickel looks here and there just to see how he is running down the field, Yeah,
you never know if the game's too big for him until he gets in there, Emilio. It's just like that freshman. I know you turned the recruiting level down on college football, and you got that freshman that was the number one recruit in the country, right? Yep. So you don't know what you got until you put him in there, and he can't build up those extra XP points to build him up for the second year if you don't put him on the field. I would like to see what Tyron Hopper can do, but obviously maybe it's kind of like a Josh Jacobs thing. Yeah. If you're able to establish a decent game plan and maybe get a 10-point lead or something like that on the Vikings early, maybe you could start to pepper these guys in a little bit,
Yeah, absolutely. And my mistake, Clay, was that I didn't scout the guy. He ended up being a bust anyway, so that was on me, right? But
I'm not gonna lie, I was faded. I ain't gonna lie, I was faded.
So are you one of those guys that don't even scout the recruits?
No, I do. Just not on that one,
Just check.
You always think that they're a home run, but that's it with Hopper, because like we talked about earlier in the season, getting reps for those D linemen, Warren Brinson, Sorrell, all of them getting reps early is going to help us later on in the season. People are going to get banged up. The season's long. For the rookies, the season's long. The college football is going to be slowing down here soon, and our season, the NFL season is going to keep on going. I think that getting him meaningful snaps in season is just going to help. Obviously, like the rest of this team has learned from the mistakes that have happened in the previous losses in games. Getting Hopper a couple of those mistakes and good things that he can build on and say, all right, this is what I want to work on, get better at. Perfect. That's what we need to kind of plan for going into, December, January football.
Yeah, let's go to the chat, see what everybody's saying in here. Our Aaron Rodgers, not the Aaron Rodgers, said, I just don't like McDuffie in coverage, right? And that seems to have been his weak spot in the past, right? I think we would all agree there. McDuffie is more of that run defending linebacker, right? Now you're seeing, like you pointed out, the coverage grade here at a 77.7 this year for Tyron Hopper would make you think maybe he is more fit for that nickel 4-2-5 package, right? It's going to be interesting. We're going to learn a lot about how they feel about Tyron Hopper when we go out there with our nickel defense this Sunday. Although if last week had was any indication, I should say, of what they're thinking, you're probably still going to see McDuffie out there. Am I wrong there, guys? When we were in the nickel 4-2-5 last week after Quay went out, it was all McDuffie there, and then
and he's the backup green dot too, so that's important too, right? Kind of your vet leader in the middle there, so got to consider that as well.
Right, and it's nice that McDuffie's taken over that, because that was Eric Wilson's role last year, right?
Yeah.
Who's been Minnesota's star linebacker with their injury that they had. But I'm happy that we have McDuffie. If we didn't, then it would be a Hopper time. Hopper, you'd be going in there. You'd probably be sliding the dot to Cooper or X, and then there's a whole daisy chain that would fall. We thought about it early, but I'm glad that we ended up bringing Isaiah back. Make sure that we have something locked up. You set the floor. That was key.
Yep.
Definitely. Coach Lynn in the chat said, I want Hopper at Mike. And again, I think in the preseason, Coach, that's where we've seen Hopper, right? So when the starters were off the field, he was kind of that backup Mike, if you will. At least, when you don't want your starters, you don't want McDuffie out there. You didn't want Quay. You didn't want Adrian Cooper on the field in the preseason too much. Tyron Hopper did wear the green dot, I believe, and he also played that Mike spot. Now, you guys know how I feel about Mike, Sam, Will, all that stuff. It's very interchangeable, especially in a nickel defense. We've shown you multiple times. I try to identify it on Chalk Talk as much as I can. Okay, look, here you've got Adrian Cooper playing Mike, and you've got Quay playing Will. And then 3 plays later that we showed on Chalk Talk, it'd be vice versa, right? It just depends on the matchup you got that week, what the specific play call is there, and how you want to integrate those backers. It's just like safety. I no longer look at a safety as a strong safety or a free safety anymore, right? I don't look at it like, okay, Xavier McKinney is the free safety and Evan Williams is the strong safety. We've showed you time and time again, we'll say 29 spur, then you'll hear us say 33 spur. Yeah. Well, that's indicating typically the safety that's in the box, and that's what most people see as a strong safety. Right. By technical terms, when the strong safety position was created and labeled, it was meaning the safety that played on the strong side of the formation. That's why they called it that. That's very, very interchangeable today, and I kind of feel like Mike and Will in the nickel defense is very interchangeable too, and I think that's why they went and got Adrian Cooper, who almost looks like a carbon copy of Quay Walker with the physicality, the talent, all that stuff, right? So but yeah, I can understand you wanted him at Mike for sure, man. Let's go to the super chat here real quick. Josh Martin, thank you so much, buddy. The wife finally gave the go ahead for the move to Green Bay. Hope we'll be in Green Bay by the time the playoffs come. That's absolutely awesome, guys. Awesome. If it were up to Mandy, we would already be up there too. I'm telling you, she sends me a half a dozen houses a day that are for sale. And I'm the one holding that up right now because, listen, somebody's got to be responsible.
Right.
We can't. If it was up to her, Tim, we would sell the house tomorrow, move up there, and not look back, man. That's how.
Yeah, you're over there like.
I'm not going to. So quit asking.
I just love Tennessee, man. I love Green Bay, Wisconsin. I love it so much. Man, Tennessee. Emilio knows. Emilio came down from upstate New York, right? Moved to Tennessee. It's just a different world, isn't it, man?
Absolutely. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, congrats to Josh, though, man, making that move. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely awesome, Josh. So enjoy it, buddy. Make sure you send us pictures when you get up there, man. Pictures of Lambeau and stuff like that. Not any pictures of you and your and your whitey toddies at night. You know what I'm saying, man? We don't need none of that creep.
You do that, you're going to get your ass kicked in that.
Appreciate you, Josh. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. Congratulations. That's awesome, dude. All right, let us know in the comments if you're still here. Later on watching this video, how do you feel about Tyron Hopper? Would you like to see him in the nickel defense? Would you like to see him just play base 4-3? Do you like McDuffie better, Hopper better? Would you like to roll the dice to see what you got in Hopper? We want to hear from you guys in the comments. And do us a favor, help boost that algorithm. Hit like, hit subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. All right, let's shift gears, talk a little bit of Micah Parsons. I want to get your all's take on this, because there's a portion. It's nobody in the Packers fan base, but there are a lot of NFC North rival fan bases that seem to think that Micah Parsons' stat line is just horrible, right? Like, it's just, how do you pay that much money for a guy who only has 8 sacks, right? And I pointed out, Rashawn Gary's right on his heels with 7.5, and he's got more run stops, right? Well, why is that? Let's explain why. PFF put this tweet out: the most double-teamed edge rushers in the NFL. Okay, look at these numbers, boys. So TJ Watt, 49% double team rate. Okay, and what that means is 2 guys are locked on them, blocking the entire rep. That's what that means, right? Now, chip rate, 32% of the time he's getting chipped. That's most in the league. All right. And what that means is a running back or a tight end just blasting him off the line and then going into the route. When you hear us call out a play on Chalk Talk and we say leak, that's a chip, right? That's a tight end chipping and leaking. That's a running back chipping and leaking and getting into the route. So you're knocking them off their pass rush and allowing the offensive lineman to absorb them. Okay. So again, TJ Watt, 3rd in double team rate, 30 and 1st in chip rate. Myles Garrett, this surprised me. I thought Myles Garrett would be 1st in both, to be honest with you. Myles Garrett, 58% double team rate. That's 2nd most in the league. 3rd in chip rate at 26% of the snaps. So he's 2nd and 3rd in that regard, right? 1st in double team rate in the entire National Football League is your very own Micah Parsons at 59% of his snaps. He's being double team blocked. And 21% of the time, he's still being chipped, which is 7th most in the league. But again, that double team,
99% of the time he's being held.
And I'm still baffled because there's media members that are still saying, and they're still using this talking point of, I really expected Rashawn Gary to break out with Micah Parsons coming. He has. Yeah. He's on pace to have his first double-digit sack season. He's only a half a sack behind Micah Parsons because Micah Parsons is getting all this. It's worked. Mm-hmm. And look at your run defense and how it's affected it, right? Because the reality is they're having to kind of double team Parsons on some of the run fits too. They need to know where he's at. He's a good run defender as well. So it has unlocked Gary. And it's like people forget that the last 3 weeks we've been playing some mobile quarterbacks. And that's going to harness the cage rush a little bit, right? It's going to bring in the cage rush, the touch spies, all that stuff. I expect Rashawn Gary to finish the season, if he stays healthy, with over 10 sacks. And yep. I think he'll lead our defensive line group, Emilio, in run stops as well, which he's doing right now. He's actually 5th in the league in run stops amongst all defensive linemen, okay? And then, of course, you've got our boy Micah Parsons, who 8 sacks, and he's just a double-team machine here. The thing I'm a little disappointed by is the interior defensive line. I feel like they should be more effective. Gary, you're getting the production, right? You're getting the run, especially in the run defense, and you're getting solid pass rush production. You're getting all these snaps with 59% of the time. Micah Parsons is basically giving you a +1 hat count, right? So what's going on in the middle? That's the part that kind of bothers me a little bit. I want to get your all's take. I thought this number was awesome, man. 59% of the time, Emilio, they're having a double team this cat.
He's a dog. He's an absolute dog. That's why we brought him here. That's why you're paying the big bucks. And that's the fact that you're seeing him in those pictures that all the national are talking about. That's what we're paying for. Great. And I'm not even sure we completely overpaid. It depends. I guess we'll see how it plays out and see what he does. But dude is a freak, just like Myles Garrett. And TJ still getting that respect there. I just love that we have him, right? The defense has been different and will continue to be different with him. I think that he's teaching them some of that mentality. I mean, if you listen to some of his pressers, some of the mentality that dude has, the way he keeps fighting and driving, and the motivational things that he listens to. And he said that he was going to send some of that stuff to LVN. Just like all the little stuff that keeps you going through that day to day is huge for this team. He's gonna be a freak. Get him double digits, like you said. Get Rashawn double digits, and let's see what we can get for LVN moving.
What do you think? Great players make the team better, right? And that's what Micah does. I mean, I don't think we overpaid either. I think we're gonna, hindsight being 2020, we're gonna look back and Goody Cook, man. Thanks, Jerry. We know the story, and first in the NFL double team rate, and he beats them like a drum on a weekly basis. We see it all the time, fighting through holds, fighting through doubles. He's influencing this defense, and we've seen it trickle down to the secondary. We talked about the opportunities that CV and these guys are getting they're going to capitalize. It's just a matter of time before it really, comes to fruition. But, you got to love the addition of Micah Parsons, on this team for sure.
And when you look at the defensive rankings right now, and Emilio, every time I pull up this spreadsheet, guys, there's a new color code on it. It changes by the second live on the show. That's what he's doing over there, evidently. So Green Bay's defensive scoring, they're 5th in the league, right, in defensive points per play allowed. And then defensive yards per play allowed, they've jumped all the way to 3rd. So they're 3rd best in yards per play allowed. And obviously Micah Parsons playing a big role there. And back to the whole Gary thing, I would love for Rashawn Gary to lead the league in sacks and just be Myles Garrett. He's not him. No. He's not. How many times do we have to say it? My question is, if you're not happy, if you're not impressed with what Gary's done with the addition of Micah Parsons, what were your expectations? Like, were you truly expecting Rashawn Gary to lead the league in sacks because Micah was here? I wasn't. What I was looking for, you notice, I don't focus on the sacks and the individual statistics too much, right? I focus on those team stats. I want to know where we're ranking amongst everybody else in the league. Where do you sit on defense? How many yards per play are you allowing? How many points per play are you allowing, right? What's your turnover margin? That type of thing. That's the stuff that I want to see improve. I could give a rat's ass on who's leading in sacks and who's got that. It puts you in a position to win games, but ranking in those team statistics in terms of how often you're shutting down the opposing offense, right? That's what matters the most. So I honestly don't know, and I'm genuinely asking, what did people expect Rashawn Gary to do that they're upset that he's 10th in the league in sacks this year and he's 5th in run stops amongst defensive linemen? Do you guys have a number? Would it be he would have to lead the league in sacks before you go, okay, Gary's worth it? Like, what do you think that number is?
I have no idea. I don't know what they're going to be happy with. It's his 2nd lowest missed tackle.
They don't know either, right?
No, they don't. Looking at PFF, his 2nd lowest missed tackle percentage of the career is his lowest was in 2021 at 5. Right now he's at 8.3%, 19 stops, which is close. He's on pace probably to do his best season, which would have been last year where he had 31 tackles, 33 stops. Right now he's got 15 tackles, 19 stops, and 1 forced fumble. The dude's all over the place, and that's who we were going to trade forward for Micah and all that. No, we needed him here. Dude came back from that ACL. He worked his tail off. He's a leader in there. I feel like he's another quiet leader. You don't hear from him a lot. What he says, people do kind of thing. And I feel like he leads by action, not always having to say it.
We talked about that from the very beginning, right? The Micah Parsons deal only made sense if Bane Gary is still in Green Bay, right? I mean, I shouldn't say only made sense, but makes the most sense if you have that 1-2 combination that we have. And I don't understand what the gripe is with Rashawn. I'll never understand what the gripe is with Rashawn Gary in the fan base. Bane's an absolute dog, an absolute leader. Both vocally and by example. That guy is like full on 100% game mode every time he's on the football field. And, you need guys like that in your locker room. And, if you're not noticing that, I don't think you're watching, football close enough, honestly.
And it's really weird energy for people to constantly, and again, it's not the majority of the fan base, but there's a portion of the fan base and the media that they constantly look for something they can grab a hold of with Rashawn Gary and see he's bad. And maybe it's because they were so dug in before that they know they look like an absolute moron now. Okay, now he's got somebody opposite him. All of a sudden, he looks like he's going to have a career year in sacks, right? All those things. It's really strange energy to me. I don't understand it. It's like one year I was pointing out, man, he had a 19% pressure rate. Yeah, but he don't finish. Okay, all right. So he needs to get sacks to make it. Now he's getting sacks, and those people are circling back around and going, well, his pressure percentage is only 12.5 now. Like, what do you want from him?
Watch the game. Stop watching the numbers. Stop being stat obsessed. Yeah.
And again, the snap count too. That's the other thing. Oh, his snap count's down. We laid it out, did we not, Amelia? It's within 5 that it's been the last 3 games.
Yeah, right? Yeah. No, yeah. It was he was like 40, and then he dropped to 39, 38. That was or 38 and 39 was last game. So actually, they should have been mad that the game before.
And God forbid they actually turn on the all 22, or they would notice, oh, That's why Enagbare got more snaps because they're dropping him into coverage.
Yeah.
They wanted to run a fire zone approach against Jameis Winston and try to force some interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
That's the answer I'm coming up with. But again,
it's also week 12, Clay. What happens at week 18 when you still need – all right, what happens if Rashawn goes 45, 50 snaps? Are they going to say anything that, hey, did you oversnap Rashawn this week compared to his numbers? I don't think that's coming up.
Yeah. And you notice how he stays healthy since the ACL too on that snap count.
Yes.
If he gets hurt, you know what they're saying? They're not going to go, oh, crap, they overused him. They're going to go, see, he can't even stay healthy.
Yep.
It's always something. It's always something. So anyway, I'm off my soapbox. It just drives me crazy because this should be a positive thing. And it is. I need to mention too, the people that I've got in my mind that complain about this are the ones who always say, no, I'm not a Packer fan. I just cover them. I'm not a Packer fan. I just cover them. You know what I hear every time I hear that? I'm not a Packer fan. I'm going to try to drum something up here to talk about. I'm going to try to that's what I hear every time I hear that. It's really weird. It's weird energy. So, all right. Let us know what you think about Micah Parsons, though. I thought that number was awesome. This is a positive thing. People should be happy about this. They shouldn't use this as a reason to now try to tear down Rashawn Gary or tear down Devontae Wyatt or anybody else. But let us know in the comments how you feel about Micah Parsons. Have you been happy with the addition of him? Do you think it's worth the money, worth the draft picks you gave up? Maybe you don't think it is. Keep it respectful. Let us know where you disagree in the comments. We want to hear from you. And make sure you do us a favor, hit like, subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. All right, Emilio, we're going to get to your favorite part here. This is what you wanted to see. This is what we came for tonight. You ready? We're going to do the PFF preview.
Let's get it.
Our defense against their offense. The line has not changed. Okay, it's still 6.5-point line. Here we go. Let's get into it. Let's start with our nickel defense, all right, against their 11 offense. All right, so here we go. From left to right, their offensive line. Christian Derrick, can you see this okay? I need to zoom in, don't I? Let me get a little closer here.
You can there we go.
A little bit better? All right. I think so. Let me see. Double check. There we go. That's about as good as I can do. You're going to have to put your glasses on, old man. All right. Christian Darrisaw, left tackle. I think he'll be good to go. 67.5. Left guard, Jackson, 62. Center, Kelly, 72.2. Minimal snaps, looks like. Will Fries at right guard, 60.4 if he plays. And then O'Neal at right tackle, 72.4. They've got a solid tackle tandem. It's like a little bit lesser version of the Packers, right? I feel like Rasheed Walker and Christian Darrisaw play at about the same level, and Zach Tom is significantly better than O'Neal at right tackle, according to PFF. So think of our offensive line in the tackle spot. We're slightly better than them, right? So I think we should be able to hit home with some pressure with this offensive line. When you look at our defensive line here, what they're showing currently, not knowing if LVN is going to be playing, is Kingsley Enagbare at edge, Rashawn Gary at the opposite edge, right? So Enagbare 65.9, Gary 69.6. And then you got Micah Parsons lining up in the 3-tech in that cheetah package with a 91.9 PFF grade. Devontae Wyatt is sitting at 57.2. So he has started to dip significantly this year. We'll see if that continues or if he gets on a little bit of a hot streak. Now, we've seen flashes from him in the run game, right? That 6-yard tackle for a loss, was that against Philly, where he just blew into the backfield and blew up Saquon Barkley. So he's shown some flashes here or there. But when you look at their offensive line versus our defensive line, if you think LVN is going to play, here's what I want you guys to imagine. You see Parsons here, right? Imagine Parsons playing where Enagbare is at a 91.9, and now you insert LVN into that cheetah package. So it would be 90 cheetahs, what we would call that. His PFF grade is a 74 right now, 27th best edge defender in the National Football League this year, and I think he's the 5th best defender on the Packers rosters, on the defensive side of the roster, I should say. Emilio, how do you feel about their offensive line versus our defensive line? Then we'll talk their quarterback.
I think we got a shot. I think that speed to power we have on the edge is going to be key. We'll see what their interior is. Remember, Jackson's the rookie out of Georgia, right? I believe so. He's a new guy. He's kind of getting his feet under him now, but let's see if we can't, test him, get a couple ETs, TEs, stunts, whatever we need to do. But put that line in a test, because they're already worried about JJ back there, right? So if they have to hold for longer than 3 seconds, I think we've got a shot. I don't know how well their quick game is going to work, if he can't get it out there quick, accurate, and in a hurry. So I like the matchup. Yeah, the numbers don't look great for Wyatt, but I'm not worried about his skills and speed and strength. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. And Tim, when you look at this, man, Minnesota, They're 16th in scoring, in offensive scoring, right? And then in offensive yards per play, they're slightly worse than that at 19th. Their offense has really been struggling this year. That, as well as their turnover margin, they're 31st in the league in turnover margin right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think looking at the front and looking at this Minnesota offense, maintain your edge, right? Do not break contain. Aaron Jones is no stranger to any Packer fans out there. And, regardless of how Jonesy has been playing as of late, coming off the injury bugs that he's been dealing with, he can gash you outside the tackles. And, to Emilio's point, JJ being JJ, they need to get the ball out quick. And right. Jones is the type of guy that, if you break contain, man, he's going to make you pay for it. So I think that's a point of emphasis going into this game. And I'd be willing to bet that DeMarcus Covington and the boys have that in the bag for this matchup for sure.
Yeah, Aaron Jones grading out a 62.7 this year. And I want to say their backup running back. Who is it, Emilio? I'm trying to think. He used to be with the 49ers back in the day. I feel like he's performing better than Aaron Jones, honestly. So their two-headed monster is a pretty good two-headed monster. I can't think. Is it Madison? Am I thinking right?
Yeah. I wanted to. It started with an M. I'm sure.
Yeah. And here is 9, J.J. McCarthy.
9 is Christian Scoot Watson. That's who 9 is.
54.6 is J.J. McCarthy's PFF grade, right? And he's the 36th graded quarterback out of 39 that PFF has graded out here, right? So I'm no mathematician here, but there's only 32 teams in the league. That tells me that there's a few backups that are grading out better than Mr. J.J. McCarthy.
Oh, we're going to give him some.
The 10th overall selection, 10th in the first round of the 2024 draft. This is who you chose over Sam Darnold, and it just hasn't come together yet. It may come together Sunday, boys. It might. To this point, not looking like it's going to happen anytime soon. 54.4 is his passing grade. If you turn on the tape with him, what you're seeing is bad mechanics, and he's air-mailing the hell out of the football all over the field. And he's got some of the best wide receivers in the game, one of the best tandems. You got Justin Jefferson, arguably the best receiver in the league. You got Jordan Addison on the other side. You got Hawkinson at tight end. I mean, what else?
Poor guys. Poor guys.
No, seriously. And they're out there screaming.
That's where that audio actually applies, right?
They're screaming at that man. How can you have any sort of excitement if that man can't hit you? I was looking at their season grades. This last game against the Bears, actually their best pass blocking game second best, 81.8. Their best was an 82. But the past 2 weeks, they've been 82 and 81. So that line's trying to give them a shot. Their passing grade the past 2 weeks, 52.4, 52.6.
You do that, you're going to get your ass kicked in that.
That's correct. So J.J. McCarthy, 54.6. Aaron Jones, 62.7. Hawkinson, guys, down year, 58.8 is his PFF grade. What's he done over his career here? God, that guy looks like he's 112 years old. He's only 28. Look at that dude right there.
Wow.
Seriously.
He looked like somebody from the holler there, Clay.
Emilio, did we not see a half a dozen of T.J. Hawkinson in the redneck brawl, bro?
Easy. With the overalls and no undershirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, you got to let those things flop around a little bit.
You got to breathe a little.
You got to, Lord have mercy. We're talking about up top, not down below there, just so y'all wondering, right? We're talking about the bib overalls, no undershirt, strapping up they still had their Rocky boots on, right? They're ready to go. Not Rocky Balboa either. We're talking about Rocky steel toe boots. It was unbelievable.
It was. That was it.
Fast. As Holmes said, Clay, isn't that your trailer living neighbor? We had several people in the hood that looked like that.
Here's a guy
in the holler, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
We had a white baggie on him too, just walking around the neighborhood chilling. That dude looks rough. Seriously, let's just take a second and admire that.
Everybody, he's living in the wrong era. But I feel like he needs to be like actually a Viking. You know, like storming, like go take over a beach and raid, a town kind of idea.
J. Cole said he doesn't look like a Viking, in my opinion.
J. Cole, I think he does, man.
I don't know, dude.
Old school Viking, like put 2 horns on the helmet. Let's go.
I think he might have been boating over some crystal, if you know what I'm saying. That's what it looks like to me. This is This is bad. 8th overall selection, PFF grade wise. Let's get serious here for a minute. 60, 75, 68, 73, 78, 74, and then bang, 58 this year. So he's underperforming. You think that's got anything to do with J.J. McCarthy throwing him the football? I think it probably does, don't you?
Just a little bit. A little bit.
There is your running back. Again, 62.7 for Jonesy, Hawkinson 58.8, McCarthy 54.6 at quarterback. How do our stack backers line up here? Edgerrin Cooper 72.9, Quay Walker 55.3. Of course, he's probably not going to be playing. If we switch to the base, McDuffie 69.4. So we'll see if he continues to. And again, most of those snaps are him playing in the 4-3, right, as opposed to the nickel. So if he plays in the nickel, don't be surprised if that number goes down a little bit because that's not his strong point, playing against the pass out of the nickel. Let's see what his coverage grade looks like this year, however. 63.8 ain't horrible, right?
Yeah, we'll take it.
That run defense grade, though, 69.3, pass rush grade 65.2. He split a sack on that 4th down sack with Micah Parsons last week, taking down Jameis Winston, if I remember correctly. So,
yeah, Zay McDuffie downhill, man, that's his strong suit, man. And this might be an opportunity for him to play that way, you know?
Yeah.
Like if they're going to try and get quick hitters and, you know, establish the run, I mean, that's going to play right into, you know, our advantage when it comes to Zay McDuffie. And like you said, Clay, the coverage, I'll take a 63 to 65 coverage grade with Zay McDuffie, no problem.
And to your point, Tim, the D line snaps, that's where you see him walked up so much in that 4-3. The fact that he's got more snaps on the D line than he does in the box.
Yeah.
That's key. I mean, the dude's been playing great up against the line of scrimmage. You can see it by the numbers. And that's not, and again, slot corner too. He's not playing slot corner. That man is out there and probably on a nasty split outside, face up on a dude on the line of scrimmage. So you probably put those two together, 150 to 100, you know, to just less than 100 in a box. He's probably 2/3 on the line of scrimmage. So let's see what he does in that stack spot moving forward this week.
Absolutely.
The other thing to keep your eye on too, if you look at these snaps, if he does play in the nickel set in the 4-2-5, right? These snaps you're seeing here, 18, 7, 22, what is that? 23, 6, 32, 25. That's probably about the range you'll see Hopper on the field. Now, if Hopper plays in the nickel 4-2-5, expect those snaps to stay the same. And this would be an anomaly here, this from last week, the 53 snaps, right? So again, just a good little kind of cross reference there to how many snaps we may or may not see Tyron Hopper in the defense. So I have a lot of faith in McDuffie, man. Again, and like you said, Emilio, to your credit, when they put him on the line, those defensive line snaps is typically we're playing an under front where we're playing under the strongs. We're playing under the tight end, meaning our 1 tech is on the strong side of the formation, our 3 techs on the weak side of the formation, and then they put McDuffie on the line of scrimmage. Now, if they want to blitz, if they like to match up blitzing Quay in the past or blitzing Edgerrin Cooper, then you would see them on the line because you'll probably have some of those snaps here too. Let's see how many times Cooper is on the line. 60, right?
Yep.
So not near as much, obviously, in terms of a ratio as McDuffie. Let's see how many times Quay was up there. Only 35, right? So that would suggest Quay has played more mock backer, right, as opposed to a Will or a.
It's still crazy. He's had 104. He's been on the line 104 times. That's more than Quay or Cooper combined.
Yep. So it just shows you what they like to do, right? Yep. They like to put him up on the line of scrimmage. So if you want to continue to have that in your base package, what will probably happen is when you bring in Tyron Hopper for your base 4-3, they'll probably keep McDuffie playing on the line of scrimmage like that because that's what they've been doing. And then they'll put Hopper back there at mock or Will, right?
Most not likely. Move 3 things around.
Bingo. So it's going to be interesting to see how they deploy them and utilize, obviously, the different packages. So let's move along to wide receivers versus DBs here, all right? Justin Jefferson, 77.6. He's the 19th highest rated receiver this year. You've got Naylor. Naylor, I hardly know her, in the slot, 69.5. And then you got Addison on the opposite outside at a 64.7. It's a pretty solid receiving core. These are grades that are lowered because of J.J. McCarthy not being able to hit a bull in the ass with a mop, right? Like that plays a role in these grades dropping, I think, significantly. Now, when you look at our cornerback room, Carrington Valentine, boys.
Let's go.
I did a video on him earlier today. He's the 5th highest graded corner in the National Football League right now. 76.0 is the PFF grade. Opposite of him, Keyshawn Nixon with a 68.5. Pretty damn good season for Key. And then Bullard in the slot, 65.3 now. So when you look
at say 65?
65%. 65%. That's what
what
so when you look at our DBs here, right? When you look at our DBs, I'm gonna mute you there, Emilio. You didn't say anything inappropriate. You're good, man. So I hope he just unmuted him. So there you go. All right, you got it. Guy. So when you look at our DBs against our wide receivers, with the way McCarthy's playing and struggling this year, I feel really good about our DBs matching up against these receivers because you're not going to have a quarterback who's going to be throwing guys open most likely, right? Now, when you look at the safety position, obviously plays a factor here too. McKinney is now the 9th highest graded safety in the league at 76.9. Evan Williams, 71.8. He's the 21st highest graded safety. We've got 2 number 1 safeties on our roster. What you also got, if you notice from a ranking standpoint, according to PFF, Valentine is a number 1 corner, top 32. Nixon is a number 1 corner, 29th, top 32, right? And you probably got Bull because they throw all the corners in the same pot. He's probably a top 32 slot corner, I would imagine, as well. So he's the 41st overall corner, but that's not breaking it down to slot. So I really like the way we match up here, Tim, with our DBs, both cornerback and safety, against their wide receivers and their tight end. Hell, even Jonesy coming out of the backfield who's having a down year as well. What's his receiving grade real quick? 44.2, struggling to catch the ball this year. So what do y'all think about that? We'll start with you, Tim. How do you feel about the DBs against their receivers here, man?
Yeah, like you said about our safeties, you look at X and you look at E. Will back there. It's a question of who's going to play in the box, right? Who's going to be biting down, playing in the box, and, who's going to be your deep guy, deep third responsibility. And like you said, we got 2 number 1s. It doesn't matter, that gives Jeff Hafley, more flexibility in his game plan. And then when you look at, K9 and CV out there, what else can we say, man? We're looking forward to this, right? I actually, there's a part of me that hopes, maybe JJ McCarthy can, actually get the damn ball out, and we'll see what these matchups really look like. But, it's a credit to really, Jalen Naylor and Justin Jefferson. You see the numbers according to PFF, even with a bad quarterback right now. They're still in that upper echelon. You can only attribute, any drop off to the fact that, they're not getting the ball where they need it. But I'd love to see it, man, and, between Hawkinson too, and, Bullard in the slot, like, we might get a chance to really, really see, what our 1s against their 1s really look like. But again, Mr. 9, Mr. JJ, Mr. Redshirt freshman year in the NFL, thinking he's that dude. He hasn't really proven it yet. So I think, we have to keep that in the back of our mind, right? Like, even a blind dog finds its ass once a day, right? This could be that game where they try to push the envelope. But I think our guys are going to be up to the task, whether it's our safeties or our corners, honestly.
I think that's a great point. You can't overlook anybody, Emilio. We're not saying this is a slam dunk win.
No,
I really like the way the matchups look, but you got to go out there and protect the football. You got to control the middle eight, and you got to make sure you're not playing from behind there in the fourth quarter, because B-Flow can hurt you if he gets himself in a position to dial up those blitzes, right? When you look at their defense, Emilio, one last number here for you. Let me sort it. Man, that thing's getting prettier every time I hop in there. Look at this. So Minnesota is ranked, they're tied for 8th best in yards per play allowed on defense. Guys, that's a solid defense, right? And then when it comes to points per play allowed, they're 13th. All right. So you're talking about, you take those 2 numbers and put them together, Emilio, I think it's safe to say they're a top 10 defense. So you cannot overlook that.
No, you can't. And that's what's going to keep them in it. But again, our offense can help take us out of that. If we can get some points on the board, get a score or 2 up, then they have to trace it down with JJ and Jonesy and try to force the ball down. That's when you see our secondary step up, and then hopefully it snowballs. I'm excited, like you've been both saying, to see those one-on-one matchups with Valentine and Nixon, getting them both lined up across from. They're both going to get a shot. They're both going to, let's practice the gritty, because, you got to be ready to, it's going to be a battle, right? You got Jay Jefferson in front of you. You're going to have to man up and cover that guy. And I think Hafley's, I feel like he's going to be comfortable putting him in one-on-ones here and there, just because of, hey, that's what we're in. Hey, that's what we called. And 2, I have some faith in these guys being able to do that. It's not like they haven't gone up against A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and all of that. So our secondary going to be in good shape. It's going to be a good game. I think that's going to start with our offense. So our defense can keep us in, and I think our offense needs to put some points on the board.
CV doesn't have to practice the gritty, right? He's got that down. He's got that down pat.
Easy.
Yeah, definitely. And you'll see here, I think this is a 9-year vet, C.J. Ham. Just want to mention a couple things here. If they go to 21 personnel, he's going to be the fullback, it looks like, okay? I've been in the league since 2016. He's 5'11", 250 pounds. That guy is thick, let me tell you, right? PFF grade's been mediocre, although this year 65.4 is his PFF grade. Now, when they go to 12 personnel, let's see who their backup tight end is. It's Oliver, all right? So you've got Josh Oliver. Had a pretty good career, to be honest with you. 42, 51, then he jumps to a 72, 75, 74. So in 2023 and 2024, he was grading out as a top 10 tight end in the league, right? This year, he's dropped to a 64.8, so pretty solid there. They'll probably press into 12 personnel a little bit. As you can see, this last game in Week 11, he had 19 snaps, right? And a couple of times throughout the season, too. There in Week 7, what do you have? What would that be, 32 snaps there in Week 7? Yeah. Let's cross-check that in Week 7 to make sure Hockenson was playing Week 7. He was. So they're running a lot of 12 personnel. At least they were early in the season. So you're probably going to see a lot of Tyron Hopper if they press into 12 and 21 personnel. I don't have the numbers pulled up in terms of the rate in which they run those right now.
They played the Eagles Week 7.
There you go. All right. So in the Eagles, it kind of makes sense because the Eagles play that shell, that quarters coverage. So they wanted to press into 21, try to establish a run, I would imagine. So going to be interesting. Let's get him back off the screen there, man. I swear it looks like Breaking Bad every time I pull that up there. So, all right, there you go, guys. There's your PFF preview, our defense against the Vikings offense. Let us know in the comments, you're watching this video back later, how do you feel about how we match up our defense against their offense? We want to hear from you in the comments. Do us a favor, help boost that algorithm. We're on our march to 7,000 subs. If everybody watching this video hit sub and hit like, it would boost the channel tremendously. I know you probably think it don't matter that much. It really does, and we greatly appreciate y'all taking a second to do that. So make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. One last thing I wanted to hit on, guys, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
I still can't believe that we had 4,000, or we had less than 4,000 before the draft.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
It's blew up, man. And again, it's just a testament to this awesome community, dude. It is. I put a tweet out earlier. I got my feels a little bit earlier on Twitter. I've gotten a few direct messages of people just basically saying, man, thanks for not being stuck up. Thanks for being, and I don't want to take shots at other people and saying this, it's kind of tongue in cheek, but they message me, but they're talking about all of us. Like, we're created a community where everybody kind of feels like they belong, right? We're not going to judge you on your politics. We're not going to judge you. We keep politics out of the show first and foremost, right? And we just talk ball and have a good time, and everybody's respectful in the chat. That's what we're aiming to do here, man. That's it. Get in here, give a place where everybody can come in, cut up, have a good time, and talk ball. 2-0 for this says you be at 100K, but AFAM is in the chat. Amen, dude.
Oh, we're gonna give him some
fact. And there's another one I had starred here too. Doug said Clayton got a daddy soda in him to deliver that line. Inquiring minds want to know. Listen, we're on diet 7-Up tonight. 0 sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Sponsor the show. Right here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we ain't on no daddy soda, man. I've cut back on the drinking big time, boys. Big time.
Oh, yeah.
I bet I've had 3 beers in the last 2 months. True story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
I'm not going to lie. I was faded. I ain't going to lie. I was faded. Like,
it's the perfect job. All right. Tim loves it. Last thing here, our buddy Dara Carriger is like, why you got my face up on the screen? Y'all talking about this nonsense. So Dara Carriger, go give him a follow over on X. So the point spread right now, he's got a site that's showing the Packers are 6-point favorites. What I've seen is 6.5, and I'm sure you can find 6. You could probably tease it to 7 or either way that you want on certain sites. He said it's the largest spread between the Packers and the Vikings when both teams have their starting quarterback. Since 2014, that's the largest point spread difference. And again, they have their starting quarterback. That says a lot. It really does, right? So I thought that was an interesting thing there. And it looks like I don't even know what those numbers represent. They're 30% and 70%. Are they saying 70% of it's on the spread? Probably is. And that's according to Kalshi, I think. So nonetheless, man, it's going to be a fun matchup. Divisional games, throw the records out the window, right? It's going to be a dogfight.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that with everything in me, man.
Yep.
So there you go. Just wanted to hit on that real quick. Paging Dr. Crutch in the chat says, so grateful for the PTA fam and how chill everyone is. Go Pack, go. Amen. Amen to that.
And Jen Wright noticed it, Clay. That drop is gold. It is.
Nicely
done, boys. Nicely done.
Before we went live, 3 minutes before we went live, I get a message from Emilio. We got to have this drop. I'm on it. I'm on it, Hoss. So we'll try to keep
what happens is I cut it up on my phone just by screen recording it, and I send it over to the chat, and then we all listen to it, and I say we need it. But for Clayton to get it, he can't just take that video I clipped and everything. Got to go and pull it up on YouTube, pull up the video, click on the timestamp, do it, go into the MP3 converter, and then go to LimeWire, and then he's over here he's got 20 different steps, but it was worth it, man.
Yeah, we made it happen, man. This redneck's figured out how to operate this computer.
Come on now.
The feds may show up any day now, but we figured out how to work this thing. I don't know what I'm doing illegally over here, but
scared money don't make money.
That's right. That's right, Coach.
Yeah, United Bates Napster, baby. There we go.
Do what?
Napster. You know what Napster is, Clay?
Oh yeah. Well, you said Napster.
Do you know what Napster is, Emilio? You were like 3 years old when that came out.
You said Napster, baby, really fast, and I thought you said something else. I was like, "What in the world did he? What are they saying in the chat?" Napster, man. Napster was the fire. Y'all gather around the campfire for a second, all you youngins out there. You know, we used to have to go online and risk the family computer.
Yep.
Viruses flying everywhere to download. I never did this, but I heard of people illegally downloading music, right? And then they would take it and they would rip it onto a CD, which was a process in itself. And then things got really interesting. You could actually laser inscribe the CD on the top. You can take your favorite picture. You know what I mean? You got a gal you're recording at the time.
How'd that go?
Bro. The only thing I ever did was I went to the Music City Bowl, Kentucky versus – who was it? Kentucky versus, I'm going to screw it up. I can't remember. It might have been Clemson or somebody, right? Music City Bowl in Nashville. And I put all of the pictures and the videos on a disc, and I laser inscribed a picture I took of the stadium right on top of it.
Nice.
I sat there and looked at it for weeks. Like, look at this right here. Are you kidding me?
I did this. He said, I did this. I built this.
Chuck Jagger's LimeWire over here, baby. Giving out viruses like candy. It was bad, boys.
It was bad. It was bad. It was so worth it though when you burn that 16 song CD and slap that thing in the whip. Phooey.
There's a LimeWire meme I gotta find right quick. Y'all talk for a minute. Tim, did you ever know anybody to illegally download music, man?
Oh, I used to be a DJ back in the day. So,
Tim's like, I started this.
That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. Oh, Professor Case called it LimeWire, then FrostWire. I remember, you went from the green to the blue, and then right after that, it was, hey, we don't even need that anymore. Then you still get the YouTube MP3 download here and there, but some of the crackly,
Oh yeah, that latency, right? You know, not all MP3s are built the same, right?
Well, Tim, I would try to get a nice good bass song. I got subs in the car and everything, just fresh in high school, all that ready to slam. And I get this song off MP3 YouTube, and it's cracklier than all get out, and it, just ruined the speakers, blew it. Unbelievable.
Bro, I used to have, my CDs were so versatile too. I would have Merle Haggard right next to Tupac on the disc. I mean, it was one track after another. It would be Merle Haggard, it'd be AC/DC, it'd jump into Pac, right? And then he'd come back out with a little Kenny Chesney, and then we jump.
Who?
Some Biggie Smalls. It was everything. And we had all the bases covered.
Alan Jackson, all that.
So this is my favorite right here. This was the one I was trying to find you guys. I've seen this meme. You guys probably seen it 1,000 times, but it makes me laugh out loud every single time I see it here. Let's get this thing loaded up. Hopefully we didn't get a virus loading it up. But look at this, bang. Me destroying the family computer with LimeWire.
Hey, there it is.
Look at that computer, Tim.
Dude, it's even got the screen too.
Yeah, man, you got that 14-inch, small television. That's high def back in the day.
Absolutely.
Printer right next to the computer. You got to have the printer right there for sure.
That thing weighs more than a Volkswagen, bro. Look at that thing out there.
Dude, right in front of the glass, like the bathroom glass to protect. You can't privacy glass, but you need it in the middle of the house just because it's a good wall.
That's a good old days, man. Bring back the good old days, boys. Bring them back. I'm just telling you, y'all missed out, man. Not really. I'm glad we're where we're at. So, anything else, boys? We good?
No, I think that's it, man.
I think we've changed the world here the last 15 minutes. So we'll go ahead and get out of here. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Bungee Cheddar Bug. Reach out on Patreon or wherever. If you're not on Patreon, shoot me a text, 865-658-5824. You were the winner of the Josh Jacobs jersey card, okay? The card that's got the little jersey patch in it. So make sure you shoot me a text, 865-658-5824. I'd rather you respond on Patreon if you're in there. That way I don't have to do any kind of background check. Make sure nobody's acting like they're you and trying to steal your piece of memorabilia. But we appreciate everybody. The best way to support what we do here at PTA is join patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. If you're not interested in that and you still want to help the channel, just make sure you hit like for us, hit subscribe, share it with a friend. All right. We greatly appreciate all the.
I'll add a Patreon version of that rankings in there so that they can edit it and stuff. And then we'll be good.
There you go. So what we're going to do is we'll get you guys a copy of those rankings as well. We'll try to update them weekly, maybe bi-weekly. And then, of course, you guys will also in the Patreon group have access to the draft board once we start to build it out a little later here in the college football season. So we're going to blink, boys, and it's going to be draft time. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. So it's been a blast so far. And we're still looking for this guy. Anybody heard from him? Maximus Best S8Y. He said he was a Packers fan. The Packers are going to lose last week. We're still looking for him. He's on the milk carton right now. So if y'all see,
I'm not gonna lie, I was faded. I ain't gonna lie, I was faded. Like
maybe that's why he made that prediction, Emilio. He was faded. I'll tell you who else was faded, boy. Right here, drafted Carrington Valentine, 7th round. My man.
Come on now.
He said, talk about smacking that 7th round draft pick right out of the park over to the fence, calling it.
Called up Benjamin Franklin real quick.
He definitely called up Benjamin.
There you go. All right, we're out of here, guys. Thank y'all so much for hanging out. Hit that like, subscribe, click the bell icon. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Probably won't do a night show tomorrow. We'll see how things go, but we'll definitely be going live at some point during the day. Any kind of news breaks, anything like that, I may just jump on here and talk a little ball with you guys and gals. So appreciate y'all. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Tim, Emilio, thank y'all so much for your time, man.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll see y'all tomorrow, everybody. Have a great night. Stay safe out there.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.